Yeah, I tapped. Yeah, so we are definitely live. Welcome everyone. I'm here with Versan today and with James. We're gonna be discussing about some topics here, some hot topics. One of them is for sure. You can see on the title of this video, we're gonna be talking about stronghold, astronomical gains in the last weeks. We're gonna be talking about rise of gold-backed stability amid banking crisis as well, stable coins, BRICS, gold, everything that you want to hear. First of all, my apologies. Today I was the cause of the delay of this live stream. I actually messed up with Versan and James. I am traveling, guys, so I made a mistake with the time zones. Actually, for me now it's midnight, so I told Versan one time I made a mistake and we got a 1 hour delay, but we're gonna be doing this every Thursday at 12 p.m. PST, right, Versan?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
Perfect.
so just for everyone to know that we're keeping it consistently. We know that you guys are enjoying the show, so we definitely want to keep this every Thursday. So thank you everyone. So what's going on, Versan? James, everything good? What you guys want to start talking about? Any order you guys want to follow?
Jay, after you, please.
I mean, I'm very open. I was asking you guys as we were backstage, was there any truth to this John Deaton running against Elizabeth Warren? Is there any merit to that, or is that just hearsay? I know it's going crazy right now on X. So, can you guys confirm that at all?
I haven't really done a lot of research. I said, yeah, I did mention we could touch on it. I haven't done enough research on it, but you know how Twitter is.
Yeah.
Things get out of control. I did see a statement this morning from John Deaton responding to Elena Tourette. I believe that's how you pronounce her name.
Okay.
Contradicting something that she said.
Oh,
So
okay.
whatever is going on over there, if John Deaton is going to run, I think that's a great idea because he is very
Wow.
transparent. He understands the law. And compare that to Senator Warren, who has been involved with all this corruption, FTX,
Right.
ETHgate, SEC. I don't even want to get into it just now. It's too early. But it would make the perfect candidate. And we need to get rid of Senator Warren. I think
Absolutely.
she's just there to enforce what the banks want. She
Right.
represents the banks. So,
That makes sense. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, I think besides that, yeah, and then I know we were talking about this false flag and many other things, but I'll just kind of follow you guys with the lead as you guys get into these various topics.
okay.
I might want to touch also about SHX if you guys don't mind making some comments, And I want to tell a quick story here for whoever is actually watching us. I heard about SHX, but it was not really coming to my radar until Versan one day has sent me a message and say, "Let's get a call. I have to talk to you. Serious business." I get it. I pick up the phone, and well, he was the first person bring who brought SHX Stronghold to my attention, and since
Wow.
that, well, I think you all know what has happened to SHX, and then it led me to actually text James about it. So hopefully he also gets on SHX. I think it has been, if you understand the fundamentals of SHX, you don't get surprised for what happened in the last 2 weeks. I mean, Versan has told me, I did my own research, and then I started to find all these sort of connections. When you understand that Ripple is investing on SHX, they have strategic partnerships. One of them is with Stellar. They are also highly connected to the FedNow payment services. So you have that's what, in my opinion, is about real world utility. When you get in this type of projects, and that's, at least for me, what I look in a project. I go for board of directors, I go for tokenomics. I want to know which percentage is held by founders, which percentage is actually distributed to the community, what is actually the fundamentals, the partnerships. And I'm just in there sitting and looking for SHX, and I'm going, check. Okay, they have the real world case, they have the huge partnerships, they have Ripple investing in SHX. I have this information as well. So I was very happy, and I have to thank you for that, Versan, that for my attention. I know sometimes there are so many digital assets is quite difficult to focus in too many at the same time. But I do believe nobody should be ignoring SHX. It has made substantial profits for me, at least in the last weeks. I think it made, from the moment where Sam told me, at least a 4 or 5x already, which was actually great.
Wow.
And this brings me to the topic also of how important it is to be diversified on
Yes.
digital assets. Do you guys want to make some comments on SHX, especially you, Versan, that is the person who actually brought SHX to my attention?
Well, I have one comment before Versan gets into it. When did Versan let you know about SHX? How far long ago was that?
Well, I'd be happy to answer that.
Yeah, please.
Well, first of all, I don't want to take credit for being the first to bring this up. However, I was it was on January the 3rd when I actually shared this with a few people. That's all.
Wow.
And I put it on my Twitter as well. But I'm not trying to take credit for anything here. I just want people to understand this is the importance, again, of being diversified.
Right.
So I didn't get in very early either. There were people talking about this a little bit before I was. And I noticed SHX and I said, what the hell's going on here? Let me research it. I had some free time. So I started researching SHX, and what came to mind was that it's starting to look like a significant player in the space.
Wow.
Number one, the fact that it was built on the Stellar network. That means it was designed, the technology, by the same masterminds behind the Ripple and Stellar protocol. So for me, that was one step. The second thing is I asked myself, what makes it stand out? For starters, it has multiple various factors, things that it could do, basically. Number one was mainly supporting the ACH payments. And then when I realized that its main function was actually to enable and accelerate tokenization, that's really what caught my eye. And that's kind of when I reached out to Ido, because tokenization, anything that can enable tokenization, or tokenization itself, is really where most of the value, what we're talking about in this wealth transfer, is going to take place. Because asset tokenization is the key to involving representing real world assets like real estate, stocks, commodities, et cetera, as digital tokens on the blockchain. But this also is important to remember that there are many technologies that serve their purpose. And the fact that they're all interoperable is what makes this all seamless. And it confirms basically the fact that there are going to be multiple projects that are involved in the infrastructure of this new system that we talk about. However, I don't want to trace back statements. This has nothing to do with, how do I say this? I don't want to word this incorrectly, but XRP is still the king. I think that's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, okay, that's the best way to see it.
Right.
But there were also documents from the World Bank that had links to the IMF. That was another thing I shared with him that underscores its significance, that those kind of partnerships don't just happen by accident.
Right.
Yeah. But, there's going to be multiple blockchains serving multiple purposes. And that just reinforces what we've been saying, the interconnectedness of these systems, not competing, but complementing each other, different roles in financial infrastructure. So again, just be diversified.
Yeah, I love being on with you and Edo, because I let you guys get real technical, and I like being like the people that are here in the stream, kind of dumbing it down, asking questions that I think maybe they would want to know. The thing that really excited me about SHX is, so many times I've heard, and I'm sure you guys have heard, people say, man, I'm late to the party. Man, I miss Bitcoin. Man, I miss this. Man, I miss XRP. I missed all these things. And I think SHX is just a phenomenal example of you're never too late to the show. I mean, some of the greatest opportunities, we may have never even seen them yet. And I think, when you look at SHX,
and it hasn't even started yet.
Man, come on, brother. I mean, you're absolutely right. And when I think about when you told Edo about this, you're probably talking about what, 0, 3, 4, 5. And then I look back at December, and this doggone coin was like 3 zeros and a 5. So it went from 3 zeros and a 5 in December to 2 zeros and a 5 in January. And all of a sudden, so when people say, man, boo-hoo, I missed the boat. It's like, bro, no, you did not miss the boat. It's just about doing your due diligence and always keeping your ear on everything that's going on, and paying attention, and doing your own research. And, I had a friend of mine that got into crypto 70 days ago, got into a project and made 320 grand on a pump from LCX. And so what is the, what is too late? Stop. I always tell people, stop looking at what everyone else has done and what everyone else is doing and focus, because sometimes we get so caught up in what did Versan do? Oh my God, Versan did this, and Edo got lucky and he sold his car and he's worth all his. You don't understand, some of the greatest opportunities haven't even presented themselves yet, because we haven't even gone into, I believe, one of the greatest bull runs ever, with all the validation and clarity we have in this market. Whether it's, I don't care if you like Bitcoin or not, the fact that people are embracing Bitcoin ETFs and that notoriety that's happened to the market, I think is great for all crypto, or at least for those that are going to be around long term. So and especially XRP, a lot of people, and I don't want me to go too long, but a lot of people sit up here and go, well, man, XRP this and XRP, the price is not moving. I just still, people, and I get so many messages. I don't think people really understand XRP, the utility behind XRP. And yeah, I agree. It sucks when and look, we're human. Yeah, it sucks that Bitcoin was at 30,000 and XRP was probably 50 cents and Bitcoin's at 50,000. But there's going to be a moment, in my opinion, and Versan and Edo, I want you to answer this if you could, that I believe XRP is going to detach itself from everything. And I think that's the thing that people have to understand. At some point, you don't want to miss that boat, man, when it does. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, decoupling for sure. I think right now everything is just coupled with Bitcoin because of just the way they're playing the narrative.
Yeah.
And they're going to let this unfold gradually. It's been this way for years now. Right. And I think those who have been patient enough to really see this through understand how this is really going to play out moving forward. But again, it ties us back into like what's happening with Ripple, right?
Right.
Ripple continuously for the last 4 years, nonstop, has been bombarded with positive stories, positive news. They just made another acquisition the other day for standard custody, right? Something like that. Okay. But again, all these positive developments, positive stream of news, positive strategic partnerships, it tells us one thing: this is all building towards something greater. And despite what the SEC is saying, despite the lawsuit, despite all the bullshit you hear from everybody else, the noise, right? We've already won this, and we've been saying this for a long time. We're basically playing chess while everyone else is stuck playing checkers. Right. And people forget that the SEC is still, despite, again, what's going on, they're acting on behalf of the powerful banking interests. That's what Senator Warren's trying to do. Exactly. That's what Gary Gensler has been up to, and all these criminals that you see in the Senate and in Washington. They've been trying to slow Ripple down. They've thrown everything at it. But this is where it gets interesting. Ripple, with all the strategic partnerships, has become too powerful, too influential to be taken down by regulators and enforcers. And I think that's where this is all going. We've reached a point of no return. If you think about it, with all these strategic partnerships worldwide, I put a tweet out about this, it puts XRP in the center of the global financial system. So despite what the US wants to do, they can't circumvent it, no matter what. You can't stop the inevitable. And that's where we're going with this. So I put a statement out the other day saying this could corner the SEC to a point where they are forced to do something about it. And I mean, drop the damn lawsuit, because this was illegal to begin with if you trace it back to ETHgate. And that is going to come out. Why are they buying time? For multiple reasons. But again, they're afraid if this gets out, it's going to expose the Senate, the Congress, the banking interests. It's going to expose all of it, and they can't allow that. So I think they're just trying to buy time for the inevitable. However, it's all going to come out eventually. So,
and do you think that will force a settlement talk, is because all the corruption will be exposed, and so that kind of is like, okay, hey, the only way we can get out of this thing is maybe to settle, which at that point becomes more advantageous for them than even XRP and Ripple.
Yeah, we actually, many people in the Twitter space talked about this like a year ago. I saw tweets of people saying very similar to what we just said right now, is that they're going to be forced to drop the lawsuit or settle. It's going to push them into a corner where they have to compromise or something like that.
Wow.
People think, listen, the SEC, they've convinced people that they are so all powerful and mighty. It's not true. It's not
Right,
true.
right.
It's all bullshit.
It
They have no
seems that way.
power.
Yeah.
They have no power. They're just putting on a
Wow.
show because they have their greatest weapon. They have Senator Warren. I'm just kidding.
Jeez,
They have
wow.
the
Wow.
mainstream news. Mainstream
Right.
news.
Right.
And yeah. You know.
And it's unfortunate. Now, I tried to put up here on the screen. Can you guys explain the importance of this acquisition of Standard Custody and Trust? I saw here where it says Leadership Board of Directors, Arthur Britto, where it says we combine blockchain institutional and SHM expertise to create inspired solutions to address today's problems. So Arthur Britto, is that a big deal, Versan and Edo? Like, why is that? I mean, we know Medico. It almost seems like there's a pattern that Ripple's taking to position themselves, even through all the FUD. And like you said, I'm glad you said what you said about them not having power. They've really been able to manipulate Ripple and the situation as far as just what's happening to XRP price and so forth. Is this what I love about Ripple? And I always tell people this: you show me a company that has fought through all the FUD, that's paid what they had to pay, fight through the lawsuits, and they're continuously hiring and acquiring these companies to say, you know what, screw you, SEC. You know, this is when this is all said and done, we're not going to sit back with our tails between our legs. We're going to put ourselves in this company and XRP in position so that when we explode, we're going to explode and it's going to come out of nowhere. Because so a lot of people, Versan and Edo, they're sitting around going, well, when is this going to happen? You can almost look around at all these acquisitions and kind of see, you know, the truth. And that is, you know, Ripple's here to stay, XRP is here to stay. And I think they're going to take the world by storm. Would you agree with that and kind of explain, you know, what this acquisition means?
Edo, would you like to make a comment or would you like me to go
Yeah,
first?
I want to make a comment. Well, I have two things that I want to point out. And by the way, Versan, whenever you want to make a point, you can actually share the screen exactly like James is doing there.
Yes.
So basically, that's very useful, you know. So first of all, we have co-founder Arthur Britto. For those who are not aware, who is Arthur Britto? He's one of the co-architects of the XRP ledger. We have Arthur Britto, David Schwartz, and Jeb McCaleb. Arthur Britto was also one of the original individuals that was on the founders agreement of Ripple. That first it was named OpenCoin, and then it actually switched to Ripple, and then we have the Ripple that we know nowadays. So it's a big deal to have Arthur Britto there. Now, this acquisition, in my opinion, and I also want to hear from Versan, puts Ripple on the right side of the law. We just know this is a very growing exponential market that's actually going to grow exponentially in the next 24 months, in the next 36 months. So it definitely shows that Ripple is in the right side of the law. And it's, in my opinion, one of the most key partners, I would say partnerships, but actually acquisitions that they have done in the last months.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I want to refer to something Jay mentioned. Jay was mentioning a lot of people are losing hope in XRP because the price isn't moving. Again, this is why you need to be diversified.
Right.
I'll give you an example. And I'm not trying to boast here, but either way this goes, and I think we talked about this last time, I'm positioned for success.
Right.
If the banks fail, I still make money and I do very well. If the banks don't fail and they sustain it, I still make money and I play the bond market, the ETF stocks, cryptos, whatever you want. If both fail, you know, I'm positioned in either way. So however this goes, I'm still making money. So I don't give a crap how long this takes with XRP. And I've been saying this for like 2 years. I'm not worried about it.
Right.
Let them play their games. You keep playing your games and fight the inflation. The inflation is still the greatest threat and it could wipe you clean real fast.
Wow.
So pay attention to your income, keep your assets diversified. And if you're just going to be looking for XRP hype constantly, you're not going to get what you expect.
Right.
Just be patient. I've said this before, and I still believe that while these partnerships are being put into place all over the world, they're not even quiet about it anymore.
Wow.
It's going to take a real, maybe a crisis to trigger something like that. And that goes into what normally I try to focus on is the banking crisis, the debt, and it's how it's unsustainable. So we're going to need liquidity, because liquidity is the driver of all markets.
Right.
And we are facing a liquidity crisis, but nobody wants to talk about the facts. They want to talk about what's trending in the news. So
Right.
I gave up on that argument with a lot of the community. I don't even care anymore about that
Yeah,
stuff.
and a lot of people, when they see this type of news, they like Ripple just
they
acquired
tune out.
a new company. They expect instant price appreciation, but they have to understand it's not about appreciation of prices. The same as you look for Amazon 20 years ago, the price appreciation didn't happen instantly. That's what people have to understand. And the potential is actually just a secondary effect that's going to come in the future. But if you are well positioned and you are diversified, you should not be focusing only on XRP price action. No.
Exactly. Now, I want to tie it back to Arthur Britto. That's what you mentioned.
Yeah.
First of all, Arthur Britto was the one who said that XRP needs to be scalable to about 7 point something billion people. That came from him. Arthur Britto has decided to avoid the spotlight for many, many years. Arthur Britto had relationships to Peter Thiel. I find that to be very interesting, because Peter Thiel and Elon Musk were involved in PayPal. So I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but yes, what you see happening with XRP and Ripple is the dominance of the global financial system, whether people want to accept it or not. Still be diversified into other projects, but this is the long game.
Right.
So again, make those investments, forget about it. I'm telling you, we are living in interesting times. We've already won. Everything you see happening, right, is just maintenance.
Right.
It's just a blip on the radar. And we're going to continue to march forward, where you're going to see innovation and stability. That's stable coins, gold, precious metals, basket of commodities, whatever you want to call it, where there's going to be a bridge between the two. Ladies and gentlemen, we've already made history.
Wow.
In fact, we're on the right side of history. What we need to do is focus on our income. We need to focus on community. And of course, play the markets.
Right.
Take profits if you can. You know, play the game. That's what I've been doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
James, can you please? I sent you a DM now, so if you can just open that image, I want to actually share with you. Probably Versen has already seen this image. This is just about some of the strategic partnerships of Stronghold SHX. So have a look, guys. You can actually see that. Select strategic investors. You have Ripple over there, and then key partnerships. You have the IBM, Xpring, and Stellar. So this is just a glimpse of what we were talking about. That's why I wanted to share this image with you guys. And I also love that you mentioned Versen Arthur Britto. Well, there is a whole rabbit hole on Arthur Britto. You know, in the era of technology, nobody really knows who Arthur Britto is, and that's actually crazy that he's one of the founders of the XRP Ledger, one of the individuals that was on the founders agreement. And if we want to really track the history of Ripple, I think maybe 1% of people are even aware that Ripple was around since 1993. Officially, what they're going to tell you is that it was actually open coin and that it came around in 2004. But I actually made a whole thread about it, and you can track Ripple down to 1993 when it was actually created. And he was inside Ripple Communications, that is, it was named before OpenCoin. We had Ripple Communications by Ryan Fugger. And when you actually do some research about Fugger family, they have deep roots on the financial system and in the banking system since the monarchy time. So this thing has been going around for generations. It's not something that was planned in the last decade or so. It's a long-term plan that is being executed.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not a conspiracy. I promise you that. It's not a conspiracy. If you're doing the proper research and due diligence, again, you're going to be very confident in everything that's happening here. So,
yeah, and I think Versen's right on the money. I think every time I see someone who's really, really frustrated with XRP's price point, it tells me that maybe they went Hail Mary. Maybe they're not very diversified. They got all their eggs in one basket. But I just think that, like you said, if you're well positioned, if you understand what you hold, and not only that, but a lot of people go back and look back. They say, okay, where was, you know, XRP 3s? We've gone through a whole lot as a community. But when you look at where we're at now, I think the future is bright. And I think the future is bright in the near term. Because a lot of times, you know, is one thing, a lot of people can't stand the battle. The battle is what sucks, right? The battle, the fighting, the lawsuit. And then, yeah, we have been very victorious. I saw someone here in the comments said they thought that after the lawsuit, I think this gentleman here says, I'm heavily positioned in XRP. I thought by winning the lawsuit, it would have moved. Seems it's going to take a few more years. I should have bought, you know, he said I should have bought like crap coins. The same thing happened last bull run. But I think, you know, if you know what you hold and you understand, this has been a very amazing journey for me. At least I've been around since 2017, and yet it has been frustrating at times because you know what you hold, you understand how amazing this opportunity is, and you get frustrated like anyone else because you know I hate bullying. I hate people that bully people, and I think right now Ripple's been bullied, and the XRP community has been bullied. But when you look at where we're at right now, it's almost like you can see the finish line. Yeah, it's a little bit distance ahead. But you can see that, you know, I think right now for the first time, we can see clearly that the law is on the side of Ripple and XRP. You can feel it with Brad Garlinghouse. You can feel it with Stuart Alderete. They're getting more boisterous. They're getting more bold in their statements. I think over the last probably six months, I haven't heard them speak as boldly as I've heard them speak. So it's given me confidence that we're going to be victorious, and this thing is going to be ending sooner than later. We don't have a date. But this is a time right now. This is not the time, should I say, to freak out and start bashing, you know, XRP Ripple. This is a time to be solid, keep your faith, and wait for what's getting ready to come. And I think it will be life changing. I know we can't say that. Yeah. None of us are financial advisors, but I think one of the greatest things are getting ready to happen. And I think one of the worst things are getting ready to happen. The greatest thing, if you can stay strong, and the worst thing, if you let them talk you out of this opportunity. It almost reminds me back in the day when I heard the story. I don't know if you guys ever heard the story of Victoria's Secret and the guy who had Victoria's Secret. The store, right? Victoria's Secret, the store. Well, it started with a magazine, and this guy started Victoria's Secret. This company approached him liked the idea. He sold it for $5 million, and then it went on to be this $1 billion industry. And the guy. And I hate to say the story, but he was so upset about what he had done that he wound up taking his own life. And I don't say that I'm just, the point I'm making behind that story, Versan and Edo, is that all that story is about regret. Don't be regretful. Don't put yourself in a position to be regretful and miss this boat. That's all I'm saying.
Well, real quick, there are two things. If people are looking for a real finite answer regarding the XRP price,
right,
and it moving or anything unfolding, I got to tell you, at this point, it's gonna require some massive geopolitical event to unfold first.
Yeah,
and right. I think that's where we are.
Yeah.
Everything else it's in place, and I think we're just getting closer. And this really ties us into what the BRICS is doing, you know, and what the traditional banking system is going through. And I think in time, people are going to understand that XRP again is positioned as a liquidity tool for financial institutions that are all over the world, overwhelmed by endless debt when facing the next financial crisis, which hasn't come yet. So I think we're in the crossroads of all of that.
That's right.
So yeah, you know, this could be, besides just the greatest wealth transfer in all history, it's an opportunity to continue to accumulate. These prices that you see, in my opinion, are wholesale prices. Wait until the mainstream recognize the real utility of this asset and the need for it. When that happens, it's going to be too late to get in. Right. So just have a position. That's right. What's wrong with having some exposure to all those who are stranger to XRP, I guess.
Right.
I think it's healthy. Just have a little bit of exposure, even gold. Just got this point today. So
that's awesome. Yeah. And thank you both for, you for sharing SHX with Edo for calling me. I've heard about SHX before. I never really moved on it because I've been very well positioned in my portfolio with all the assets that I hold. But when Versan, you reached out to Edo and Edo called me, I said, okay, let me go buy like $1 million of this thing. And it was so doggone cheap at the time. And then I looked up over the last week and I said, look, let me go buy some and I'll learn about it because I trust Versan and Edo. That's the stance I took. I hate to say it, but that's what I did. And I said, I'll go back and learn. I'll go back and learn about it, when I get some time. And lo and behold, it's one of the hottest coins that's exploded. in the
Yeah,
last
and
couple weeks.
Caspa too. You know, Caspa did very well. Those who follow our members only, that's really where I put those things out,
Wow.
including
Wow.
stocks. I told people to get into Caspa at 2 cents. A lot of people
Oh,
got in way before
oh,
us.
wow.
I get
Wow.
that. So when
Wow.
it hit 16 cents, I just took my profits. It came back down, bought back in. So I'm
Wow.
just playing the markets, guys, you know, while XRP is still in cold storage.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
don't overthink it.
That's right. That's right. That's very smart. Very
Make
smart.
money.
And yeah. And then that was another brilliant call. Cass was another one. Yeah.
And yeah, just I see a lot of people asking, what's the easiest way to buy SHX or what's
Oh,
the best entry point? Well, all I have to say is like I'm not making like TA out of this statement. I'm just saying that usually when there is a massive pump, there is actually some sort of retracement. So you guys might still have the opportunity to jump in, perhaps hopefully below 1 cent. I do believe it's going to be possible. Just remember, guys, the time to buy assets is actually when nobody's talking about, you know. And 2-3 weeks ago, it was basically nobody was talking about SHX. So you should definitely expect some sort of retracement. Not saying it necessarily will happen. You know, in these markets is very unpredictable. It could actually make something similar to what XRP has done in 2017, but in the best of scenarios, you want to be diversified, you want to have patience, and when you do life-changing gains, you also have to be able to cash out. And that's I took my profits already. Now I have a long bag that I'm gonna leave for the long term. I don't really care if it's gonna retrace. I will buy back at some levels. I'm gonna keep my bag for the future. That's how I actually handle my
I
portfolio, and that's how I actually been successful with digital assets in the last years.
Yeah, and that's how you have to play it. Real quick, I did see a comment I would like to answer. Easiest way to buy SHX, I can give you the US version because we're in the US. If you have Coinbase, the easiest way, in my opinion, everyone else can figure it out, but Coinbase, I would buy XLM or Ethereum, and you could send it to Coinbase wallet, and you would swap it for SHX.
Wow, that's smart.
That fast. Unfortunately, with Ethereum, you know, gas fees are high. That's why I think Ethereum needs to kind of go. With HBAR, you can do it with nothing, or even XLM. Also, somebody asked about other calls and projects. Personally, I don't give calls and projects, but there are a few crypto investments I will put out here that are outside of my long-term investments. And the long-term investments, those who've been following our content, our work, is of course a lot of the ISO blockchain technologies that are out there. You know, your IOTA, Algorand, Quant. But here are some that I am playing. Speculative plays in, I would say, about 3 to 6 months. Take some profits on market cycles. And obviously, Caspa is one of them. There's another one called Manta. Engine. I'm sure INJ people know about this. Zeta, ZETA, TIA. That's TIA, Tau, TAO. Render. I'm sure a lot of people saw Render. And then Alt, ALT. So these are just speculative plays that I am doing actively. I normally wouldn't share this because I don't want people to get distracted from the bigger investments that are going to make real return on investment. If you have a little bit of money in the bank, what I just told you right there, I don't expect you to get in any of them. If I were you, I'd start putting my assets into those assets that are going to have the real return on investment based on real world utility.
Right.
So these are for people who have a lot of money to play with. That's a different story.
Right.
So, yeah.
Makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And by the way, I pulled up Stronghold on the Coin Market Cap and went to markets. And this is, I guess, besides Versan's brilliant approach as far as going to Coinbase and swapping it out, that's the more, you know, I would say the more American way to do it. But you can also go to, and it's amazing how many people always ask me, James, where can I find this coin? If you go to Coin Market Cap, you look up the coin and you go to markets. That typically gives you the, I guess, the normal way of buying these coins. But sometimes it's not always available. Like you said, through American exchanges, we can't promote any other ways of getting it. But do your research, do your due diligence, and hopefully you can find some ways of accessing it.
I just simplified with the European way, and I could buy it actually on Britto and also on MaxC exchange. It was pretty easy. You just go there, you can actually buy it, and then you, for sure, if you want to keep for the long term, you have to find a decentralized wallet where you can actually
Yeah.
leave your SHX
Yeah.
safely.
Yeah. Would
That is
you
the wallet. Right now, I don't really remember. You have to my apologies. I just very tired today, so my brain is not working on 100% capability. So
I believe it's
Yeah.
called SafePal. SafePal is one I know wallet that I think it's a decent wallet that you can put it on. But is there anything that you guys want to share, Versan or Edo, as far as hitting the stop screen, or like, did you want me to go to your page for you? Is there any topics on your pages that you want to pull up that you guys can go over?
Real quick, I know we were going to discuss something with the gold-backed stablecoin that has been talked about recently,
Okay.
along
Okay.
also with the BRICS nations. That does tie in. I think that's important. We need to talk about that.
Okay.
You're going to start to see this topic emerge. I think somebody put it out there the other day. I think it was Elena Torre, if I'm not mistaken. There was like some article about how they were trying to issue a gold-backed stablecoin.
Okay.
See, the news is beginning to surface. Again, it's going to take us in that direction to where gold and blockchain meet. Which tokens have been discussed by some of the central planners and institutions. Oh, I didn't put it on my page. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
But there is going to be that marriage again, whether it's XRP as a stable coin. Who knows? That's what the World Bank said, and XLM. So I don't know. I also wanted to share if anyone does trade stocks, like that's something I do on the daily. I
Okay.
trade stocks. So anyone, whoever takes our course, I do give people stock plays. But I'll tell you right now, you don't have to take the course. If you're looking to make money in the stock market, artificial intelligence, technology, and energy, you're going to see a mass amount of money just go into these things. So that's very exciting. I'm right now playing 2 stock plays. I'm happy to share. One of them is called SYN, SYN. Another one is Lays, LAES. It is retracing back. I told everyone to get in about a few weeks ago on my Instagram. But yeah, these are big projects that are going to do very well over the year. One of them is semiconductors. The other one is with this AI agenda for the green environment, whatever. I'm playing into it, even though I don't believe in it. So SYN is doing something very exciting for development of autonomous vehicles. Obviously, that's on the rise. You can make money on it. You see what I mean? So they're going to do very well this year, 100%. And,
Wow.
Yeah, this is something I do on the daily, to bring cash flow in. So I have fun trading stocks, guys. Anyways.
Wow.
Yeah. But yes, let's focus, I guess, on the stable coins and BRICS. They have had some new developments. Ido, do you want to?
yeah, sure. Actually, I shared some interesting article with you, Versan, this week that as a response to the sanctions, well, it's a fact that central banks are actually stacking gold at an all-time high. We don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, but we can actually know that they are actually buying tons of gold. There must be a reason for that. And I actually sent you an article on Russia. They actually swifting towards gold as a response to some of the sanctions that were imposed by the US. One of them, of course, comes from Russia being removed from the SWIFT payment system. So, what are your thoughts on that, Versan?
Well, whatever you see happening in the East, well, let's start with the central banks. Central banks are going to continue to buy gold because the new system is going to be gold backed. Many people don't want to believe that. That's fine. Well, why the hell would they be buying the gold?
Right.
And why the hell would they also be adopting the distributed ledger technology? I'm telling you, man, the connection is right there for all to see. If you don't believe in holding physical assets, that's totally fine. Many people think, hey, I can just own it in a digital form. They want to believe it's XRP. That's totally fine too. But the truth is, with everything going digital, I have the allure for owning physical assets. This can't be traced. I own it. Even if the cyber attack happens or whatever, God knows, okay? Whether XRP is running without internet or not, I don't care.
Right.
I like the idea of having physical assets.
That's right.
With everything going digital, I think that there's some risk, right? Okay. So central banks are going to continue to buy gold, while, of course, the mainstream narrative trying to tell people to stay in the dollar and whatnot, prop it up. And that's because there is going to be that marriage. The one who has the most gold is going to have, I would say, the biggest say at the table. Who owns the most gold? China. What did Klaus Schwab say in his book, the great narrative or the great reset was one or the other. He said that they would give the control of the monetary system to China. Why? It's because they said they already had an obedient population.
Wow.
That means the greatest threat to a new world order, whether it's controlled opposition or not, I'm not getting into that bullshit anymore. It means that the one with the gold is going to have the say at the table. So China will most likely be in charge of the new monetary system.
Wow.
And the hints are everywhere. So we'll see what happens, you know. Also, the Ripple technology, I don't care if it's been created in the United States. People are like, oh, well, why would the BRICS nations use it?
Right.
Well, if they understood really what XRP is, then you'll understand XRP can't be controlled even by
Right.
Ripple.
Right.
So,
I think that, yeah, that's kind of
ignorance.
Ignorance. Yeah, ignorance, big time. Who started the first, rocket? Doesn't matter. Everyone uses like, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Basically, yeah. So it's happening, and yes, the BRICS nations, the new development bank. I tried to trace that stuff in the past.
Right.
There were relationships that did lead to SBI and a few other banking institutions, the Rothschilds company. I think I mentioned that before. And there was a relationship that had a relationship to Ripple. So, if you want to see somebody on a headline say something to convince you that that's true, that's your problem. Right. I don't need headlines to connect the dots.
Now, Versan and
anyways, sorry,
yeah, if you guys don't mind, I'm a big believer in giving a little recognition. So if you don't mind me taking about 60 seconds to say hello to everyone, we've got Doolittle in the house. We've got Weron in the house. Liz Herrera, welcome to the Great Start Your Day with Edo Farina, Versan, and your guy 68J, Big Watch Dude in the house, BK9, Charles Harn, Fire Marshal Bill, guy from In Living Color. That's funny. Is it Ketstaru? If that's how you said, I'm not sure. Index, Insane Guy 8, Rerone Running 80s. We've got Grant, DJ Serve. Thank you guys for being here. I know there's a lot more names. Can't get through them all, but we appreciate you guys tuning in. Go ahead, Versan. Edo.
Oh, no, thank you guys. And I appreciate your patience with me. I tend to ramble. I just see things. I see things. No, I'm right here. I just see things so clearly. And I just wish people could see things the way I do. Can you guys hear me? Just give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, Versan, we can hear you.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
James was having some connection. Yeah, go ahead.
But I got way off topic, and I'm sorry, guys. But again, to the BRICS Alliance, they've been pushing for a very long time to return back to a gold standard. And that is a system where currencies are backed by physical gold reserves. But we have to ask ourselves, why is this necessary and why is it happening? First of all, of course it's necessary. And it's not just necessary to curb the means of power of central banks, to bring stability back, because central banks have destabilized everything. That's, what we've been talking about. But it's about bridging peace. And I don't think people understand that the relationship between the dollar and war and the deep state and military industrial complex, which has been exploiting the world, it needs to end. So to bring peace, the dollar has to go, because that's their weapon to wage war, to inflict economic hardships on everybody. And again, that's where things get exciting. It gets exciting because in today's digital age, we don't see each other walking around with shiny bars of golds to make things right. That's where blockchain technology comes in. So yes, the BRICS nations are going to be tokenizing their gold reserves, and all of this is made possible by blockchain tokenization. So anyways, yeah, very exciting times. I don't see the BRICS backing down anytime soon. They're in this for the long haul. So am I. I don't think they're going to stop until they've reshaped the dynamics moving forward. Sorry,
Versan, just adding back James here. He has been offline. Yeah, James, you are back, man.
I'm back.
I think he was having some connection issues, and I totally understand him.
Somebody asked me if I'm possessed. That's funny.
That's funny.
No, I'm not possessed. I have a very good heart, and I just care about the truth and the facts. I want to see everybody prosperous.
And by the way, Versan, if you allow me to go on a topic, I do believe we're gonna have some event, as you said before. There must be like a trigger for this transformation, starting for detaching from the US dollar. I had a very interesting event this week happening in Greece. Not sure if you have seen a video that I actually shared, but there has been a blackout in Greece. Just
I
that
did see that.
it didn't last for like a week, but for a couple of hours. And from my experience, it was for me actually like sort of a simulation. I just went outside to put some cash inside the ATM, and then the electricity went down in like a substantial portion of the capital of Greece, which in this case is Athens. And I lost my money inside the ATM, and I was just like, what should I do? And I actually called the bank and I say, look, yesterday I deposited 600 euros on that ATM, and the thing just turned off, and they couldn't locate my cash, and they told me they're gonna get back to me in 15 days. So this is just a small glimpse. Now imagine this at a larger scale. Just imagine some sort of black swan event, or a blackout event where ATMs go down. And understand, guys, not only the electricity went down, but also the internet temporarily for just a couple of hours. But we can put that at a large scale. Is not only the fact you cannot send a message for your cousins that are in the other side of the country, but that also comes with the entire supply chain management that goes down. I couldn't go to make the grocery shop because they closed the supermarkets, and that was in 2 hours. The amount of disorientation that was in society was something that I have never seen before. Now imagine that I haven't received the 600 euro back from the bank. They haven't provided any solution for that. And now imagine that at a large scale. And I think that's something that is cooking for the next months, that can really be a trigger for this financial reset that is set to happen.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. First of all, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad it wasn't serious and it didn't stretch out, because despite how prepared you might be, a power outage is a very, very serious thing. And you might be prepared, but what happens if the next person isn't prepared? Then they become a danger to you. So remember, it's all about risk ratio reward. So yeah, just always want to be prepared. But yes, this kind of ties us into a false flag event or a banking crisis or something like that. So in my opinion, guys, no doubt we are going to see some more banking crises this year, bank failures. And I think that's going to give them a reason to probably, how do I say it, perpetuate a false flag event in order to sidestream the mainstream propaganda. So that way people aren't thinking about what's really going on beneath all of this. So yeah, you want to be prepared. But let's focus a little bit on the banking crisis that I think is going to happen, the next step, and it's inevitable. And I say this for a number of reasons. Number one is that they're all insolvent. We know this. It's not a secret anymore. You can't hide $35 trillion debt and not service your own government and then pretend to service your debt with more debt. Come on. People need to wake the hell up. Especially considering the deliberate actions that we saw to consolidate power and control. We can even go back in history that people forgot. They shut us down. Remember the pandemic? They shut businesses down during the pandemic. It played right into their hands, because with further consolidating their dominance of mom and pop shops too, they also systemically gave bad loans to each other at the same time. And this ties us into the commercial real estate. So with forcing people to work from home and introducing artificial intelligence, they basically set the stage for banks to default on that debt. And this is where it gets funny. Every time there's some chaotic scenario with banks falling, or somebody's rigging the markets or spooking them, or consolidation phases, one name always comes up: JP Morgan.
Right.
Isn't that interesting? I swear to God, their involvement in corruption and consolidation raises so many damn questions. They rigged the metals market. They had Epstein connections, the ETHgate scandal, the collapse of SVB and Credit Suisse and First Republic. Who bought it?
Right.
JP Morgan. So it's not hard to see, guys. It's really not hard. It's like
you can tie it all back to the inception of the Federal Reserve, which I used to say it's a corporation. It's actually a private corporation that is run in the United States. And sometimes I just go across, and for all respects of your president, and sometimes he just comes with comments that the economy is doing great. And I just wondering which planet is this guy actually living in? I mean, I'm not in America, but guys, let me know in the comments if inflation is under control, if actually every time you go to do your grocery, the prices are going down, real estate is actually is accessible for the majority of the population. That's actually not how I see the situation. And sometimes I just see these comments and it just feels like it's all a political theater. How can he come on his social media platforms and say, yeah, the economy is doing okay? I mean, I don't really think the economy is doing okay.
No.
This is why I don't listen to a lot of the mainstream guys, even some of the ones we brought on. I don't listen to them publicly because they just keep touting the same nonsense.
Right.
You know, there's a reason we didn't bring Peter Schiff back on. I'm serious.
Right.
If you go back and watch our interview with Peter Schiff, it sounded like the whole thing was scripted. And I'm not stupid, and my brother's not either. You know, we talked about this behind the scenes. We were laughing, and we were like, we can't bring him on, but we did trick him into answering a question. If you go back and watch that, we did trick him. We're not stupid. Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, it's just a lot of these mainstream experts will talk about the same thing: inflation, interest rates. Come on, guys, let's get real.
Right.
What's beneath the inflation? What's beneath the interest rate? That's the truth.
Right.
They don't want to talk about it. Do you know why? Because it's not trending. It's not the narrative. So everyone's either full of shit or they're just trying to monetize on what's trending. I don't do that.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
that's why people want to avoid me, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly the same feeling I have
Especially
with
the mainstream crypto community. The mainstream crypto community, they avoid me because they know either they can't grasp what I'm talking about, or they're afraid of what they don't understand, or they feel challenged. And I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm not going to play that stupid game. I'm here for the facts and the truth. You either like it or you don't. My show is not for everybody.
Right. I think there's a lot of corrupted propaganda going on. And I think something that Versan said a little bit ago, he said it's going to take a great reset. And I think that's when everything will become more clear. I don't know if it has to do with everything that's going on, you know, with Evergrande and the China 500 billion and all this different stuff that's going on. But I just think between that and the ties to Tether, the ETHgate scenario, I just think there's a combination of things that will help us get into a great reset. And I think once that's happened, and obviously we get some legal things that transpire between Coinbase and SEC and XRP, Ripple, I think at that point maybe we'll get more clarity and we'll start seeing things moving in a more positive direction with XRP.
Yeah, you know, I want to put a point out there. Everything has a price.
Right.
And I think silence is the worst. Silence is a price too. There's a price for being silent.
Right.
And it's not just your integrity. It's also on your consciousness. So I want people to let that sink in. And I think those people know who I'm referring to. There are a lot of shows out there that will perpetuate the lies. And these are people who have far more power, far more influence, far more money than I have. And you're telling me they can't access the information that I have access to? Come on. So someone's playing some game, you know, and that's why I don't even pay attention to Tim Pool podcast. I used to watch Joe Rogan until I started figuring out that he does the same thing. And Pat Betra David, or whatever his name is, PPD. Great show. They offer you truth in many situations, but remember, you got to pick your pieces of information so you can put the puzzle together yourself.
They give you homeopathic doses of truth. It's just they give you a little glimpse of truth, and that goes the same person. I have the same vibes when I just some mainstream interview with Michael Saylor, with Pompiliano, all these guys, or it even stands for a substantial portion of the XRP community that's constantly talking on X spaces. And I have to say, sometimes it just feels like a convention of fools talking nonsense. And sometimes these people cannot take us in because they know that it's not on the same playing level, you know. That's very interesting.
Yeah, well, you know, what's great is for people like us, and you know, I truly am grateful for some of our audience and the ones who actually have the patience to sit through and listen to all of this. Because if you look at what's happening in the world today, you could see that it's very clear something big is brewing, right? And why do I say this? I say this for many reasons. This is their MO. This is their playbook. And if you haven't figured it out yet, you need to, because you have to be prepared for whatever lies ahead. Everything we see happening, the playbook is all too familiar with, whether it's the XRP lawsuit or everything you see, problem, reaction, solution. The crisis
Absolutely.
is continuously manufactured to what? To service a specific agenda. The current state of open borders, for instance, that provides an opportunity for a staged false flag attack in America. Very similar to, what we saw in September 11th, to justify what? Another unconstitutional war overseas or within the country. And that is not just going to kill innocent people. It's also going to take more of your freedoms away too, under the guise of illusion and security. It's all nonsense, guys. So just be prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you guys, I've seen some comments. How do you guys think this all plays out with Coinbase and Ripple here in 2024? Do you think this thing gets resolved in both scenarios in 2024? Do you think this spawns off into 25? If you think it's going to end in 24, where do you, foresee that happening?
One more time. I'm so sorry. Are you talking about the lawsuit?
Just everything that we're doing, because you hear so many people right now talking about settlement, and there's been going around X. I don't know how truthful that is. You're talking about people, asking, and there's some people in the comments asking, when do you foresee, or maybe if you have any kind of idea, maybe what will resolve the XRP SEC case? Will it happen this year or between Coinbase? Do you guys think that will kind of get resolved this year?
Well, why? I don't see a reason why not. If you look at what's happening, there's just so much pressure. Everything that you see is in the banking system is unsustainable, and that's going to translate to a higher XRP price when all this is said and done. Again, there's a correlation between the traditional banking system and where it's going. That's what XRP is. It's the damn bridge. People keep forgetting. So as these pressures continue to mount, whether it's a banking crisis and a systemic banking crisis that goes and spills into other banks because they give each other bad loans, it could trigger a higher XRP price if the adoption is all around. And we already have seen that. It's all over the world. So somebody said we're early. We are early.
Right.
And I think
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, and the Bank of International Settlements too, they said that this had to be said and done by 2025. Whether it's CBDCs or that, so something big has to play out before 2025. Not to mention we have a presidential cycle too. So it could happen by the end of the year if we're even going to have a presidential cycle.
Yeah.
It's obvious that Biden's already gone up here. He's lost. So who knows what's going to happen?
Well, I wholeheartedly agree, and I'm playing the devil advocate as I'm sitting here reading these comments. One other thing is, and I know I've heard this from both of you guys, but I like for you guys to touch on this as I'm seeing this in the comments. AMM, are you excited about it? And if so, why?
What's AMM?
The automated market makers. It's one amendment that is being discussed on the XRP ledger.
Yeah. As far as being the potential of being able to generate passive income through AMM and all that kind of stuff. Have you?
What people have to understand is that it comes also with a risk. It doesn't necessarily mean that because you have XRP, you're gonna make money from the AMM. So just to quickly, because we could talk so much about this, but it's like you put your XRP to a trading pair. Just imagine that you can trade Bitcoin against USDT. So you're gonna offer your XRP to a liquidity pool, so you're actually going to be deploying your XRP there in exchange for API. Now, of course, if you're going to put on a pair as a coin like Bitcoin, you're going to have a lower API, but if you're going to put to some risky coins that has less liquidity, that comes with higher rewards, but also higher risk. So it also means that you can actually get liquidated as well. So you have to be very careful with AMMs. I think is a great feature on the ledger, but have in mind it has not been approved yet. It was supposed to go live on the 14th of February. But actually some validators just, there is a whole instrumentalization on these voting issues on the ledger right now. I don't want to get too political over this issue. We can discuss in another occasion, but just to conclude, you need 80% of approval of its 35 validators, so you need 28 positive votes for a period of 2 weeks. And that's very interesting to understand how the ledger actually works. If you don't maintain consensus over an extended period of 2 weeks, then the amendment will not go live. And that's what actually makes the XRP ledger so secure, but it's very virtually impossible to coordinate an attack on the XRP ledger, because you have to imagine you have to overtake 28 different entities for a period of 2 weeks, and just in this case, 2 validators changed their ideas, and then the AMMs is not going live on the 14th of February. Now this discussion is going to extend further, but have in mind, guys, do your own research, and this comes with risks. So you don't want to actually take 100% of XRP and stake on a liquidity pool that it might run out of liquidity and you get liquidated. So it's very dangerous. I recommend you experience with small fractions of your portfolio.
Now, it seems like we've gone through almost every topic that you sent me, Edo. Did we, by any chance, go through the false flags? Because that's the part that I really want to hear from you and Versan.
2 things. Agreed. Do it with small fractions, but if it's not, well, unfortunately, my battery's at 5%. That's because we were late earlier.
My fault. My
You
fault.
know?
My apologies, guys.
Can you hear me, you guys?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, it's first.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Versan. It's the battery is finishing. It probably starts to glitch a while. So, but we can hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's lagging, guys.
All right, guys. So my battery's on 5%. I'm probably not going to make. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, my battery's on 5%. It's about to die.
Don't
Oh
worry,
my God.
Versan.
That's
We're
right,
gonna
brother.
close. Yeah.
You did a phenomenal job, Versan. We appreciate you, brother, for being here. It's always a pleasure and honor having you on the show and going over all these incredible topics.
No, my battery is dying. I'm on 5% right now, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, we
gonna
got
die
you,
any
Versan.
second.
Yeah, try to cut your
Oh,
camera
God.
and stay only audio. It might help.
Listen, to the community, I will make this up with you guys. No, I'll make this up next week, and we could stretch this out a little bit longer.
Lewis Jackson, shouts out to Lewis.
Information.
Shouts out to our brother.
But
Lewis
my battery's
Jackson.
about to die, and I am
Yeah,
so sorry.
Lewis, we want to have you on the show. I
You
think
guys are gonna have
Versan already
continue the conversation without me, and just
yeah. So guys.
I know we lost Versan. I want to shout out Lewis Jackson, incredible influencer, and his I follow him on X. I follow him on his YouTube. Phenomenal guy. Thanks so much, Lou Jackson, for the donation there, and we definitely appreciate you in a major way. Anything you want to say, Edo, towards Lou?
Yeah, thanks, Lewis. We actually expect to have him on the show. I think Versan has been talking with him behind the scenes. And guys, Versan actually lost his battery. It's actually a lot of my fault today. I did a terrible mistake on the time zones. I have been traveling since yesterday. I haven't slept last night, so that's why I'm actually wearing these blue glasses here. You guys don't want to really see my face right now. I'm very sleepy, trust me. So I actually made I told James 1 hour and I told Versan the other hour, and then suddenly Versan was waiting 1 hour and James was expecting it would be 1 hour later, and I did this terrible mistake. I am in different time zones, but
yeah,
I want to thank you, everyone, guys. I see your comments here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your support. I think next Thursday we're gonna start again, 12 p.m. PST time. And yeah, Versan just his battery died. And yeah, James, any final thoughts?
Just that definitely appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys tune in every Thursday. Also, I would have done a stream at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is when we normally go on with Crypto for Life. Obviously, Edo caught me when I had some food in my mouth, and he said, "James, are you ready right now?" I was like, "Okay, Edo, anything for you, brother." So I jumped on, but we normally go live at noon. So for those of you guys that are part of the Crypto for Life family, we will continue on probably tomorrow at noon. I might even do a stream tonight just because to cover some things that I want to cover. Other than that, yeah, Lewis Jackson, guys, make sure you go over and follow Lewis Jackson. Phenomenal guy. Follow Versan, follow Edo, follow myself, Crypto for Life, and all that good stuff. Anything else you want to add? I actually like to say some shouts out to some people. Heidi, thanks for being here. Earth Angel, how you doing, sis? Lewis Jackson, thank you, brother. Phenomenal guy, one of the legends in the game. Big follower of that guy, like all his work. Extreme Rapid Payments is here. We got Kells, Exotic Horizons. We got Bonbon 416, Liz Herrera, Omar, always one away. Again, Lewis Jackson, my brother, appreciate you. Seven, is that right? Animal is in the house. What's up, Animal? We Roan, Bullish Bird. We've got Mr. Just J6262, Fire Marshal Bill. That's hilarious as heck. Big Watch Dude, Extreme Rapid Payments, Bat Time, Black 50 is in the house. Tony Bags. Anybody else here? Andrew T. Usher did a great job doing the. I know it says user, but I just said Usher doing the Super Bowl performance. We've got Jay in the house. Doolittle's in the house. Let's see. Anybody else? G-Man. My sister Liz. Is it Maya? XRP Queen. Hoosier Swimmer. Anybody else you want to cover? Marvin Davis, how you doing, Marvin Davis? CO. There's so many people here. Alejandro, Free Falling, Zillow. I wish I could say more.
And you know, James, we had over 700 people at one point.
Wow.
I even forgot to stream to my X account today. I told you guys I am sleeping today, so we only streamed to your YouTube account, Versan's account, and also Versan's X account. I have even forgot to actually stream to my Twitter account. Well, thank you guys. We're gonna see you very soon. Have a great morning, afternoon. I don't really know. I'm going to sleep. It's actually midnight 20 here. I am in Georgia, not in the country. I mean, not in the state of the United States. I actually Georgia, the country. So yeah, guys, thank you. Here is actually midnight, and I'm closing my stuff. I'm going to sleep.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Take care.